I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. 2 afternoons not electrician. 2 afternoons not electrician. Can you test normally? Can you test normally? Was her niece an actress? Was her niece an actress? Don't they remember? Don't they remember? I can judge after 3 years. I can judge after 3 years. 4 days ago interested. 4 days ago interested. Did you dream 2 nights ago? Did you dream 2 nights ago? I have $1 in my pocket. I have $1 in my pocket. Shouldn't you be focusing now? Shouldn't you be focusing now? Why can't we be at sunset? Why can't we be at sunset? Your sister was a garbage man. Your sister was a garbage man. I have a favorite friend who is extra fit and fair. I have a favorite friend who is extra fit and fair. I hope you are having a good day. I hope you are having a good day. Was his grandfather a jeweler? Was his grandfather a jeweler? I don't notice anything special about the current situation. I don't notice anything special about the current situation. Shouldn't he be a marketer in 5 seconds? Shouldn't he be a marketer in 5 seconds? Is your grandchild a manager? Is your grandchild a manager? You have to bargain after 1 weekend. You have to bargain after 1 weekend. Then you won't be the morning messenger. Then you won't be the morning messenger. I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. The impact of the new policy on the environment was not yet known. The impact of the new policy on the environment was not yet known. Do you manage? Do you manage? Was flying. Was flying. She can dance every day. She can dance every day. Were their parents cops? Were their parents cops? They could become senators right away. They could become senators right away. Didn't they object soon? Didn't they object soon? Could this be the perfect opportunity for a career change? Could this be the perfect opportunity for a career change? You will use. You will use. Sorry, we don't have room available. Sorry, we don't have room available. Can it sit for 10 years? Can it sit for 10 years? Often not suggested. Often not suggested. Was his uncle a controller? Was his uncle a controller? I don't answer at noon. I don't answer at noon. I did not protect at noon. I did not protect at noon. His half-brother was a stylist. His half-brother was a stylist. Would not name. Would not name. Our brother is a translator. Our brother is a translator. Do they exercise? Do they exercise? Sun shining. Sun shining. Should not advertise immediately. Should not advertise immediately. Do you often give private lessons? Do you often give private lessons? You can complain. You can complain. Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. My brother was a consultant. My brother was a consultant. Couldn't last 2 weeks. Couldn't last 2 weeks. I have to go to the bank to deposit some money. I have to go to the bank to deposit some money. They were magicians. They were magicians. I must have a baby. I must have a baby. Weren't you kidding then? Weren't you kidding then? Have they been taken before? Have they been taken before? Rarely do I have to prove it. Rarely do I have to prove it. Decides. Decides. Should invite. Should invite. Shame is an emotion. Shame is an emotion. It won't cream after a second. It won't cream after a second. Now he refuses. Now he refuses. You should not lay tiles after 5 evenings. You should not lay tiles after 5 evenings. You can adapt after one night. You can adapt after one night. Didn't they experience it right away? Didn't they experience it right away? I'm going into town to buy some traditional sweets. I'm going into town to buy some traditional sweets. Not every week. Not every week. We can argue. We can argue. Was our son a developer? Was our son a developer? Were his brothers surgeons? Were his brothers surgeons? If there is a chance of rain, I will not go out. If there is a chance of rain, I will not go out. Can't I run? Can't I run? Increases at dawn. Increases at dawn. I'm having so much fun. I'm having so much fun. I almost missed the bus this morning. I almost missed the bus this morning. I'm going to the playground. I'm going to the playground. I won't go out if it's scary. I won't go out if it's scary. Renewable in one afternoon. Renewable in one afternoon. He was previously an accountant at 3 a.m. He was previously an accountant at 3 a.m. Are assumed each month. Are assumed each month. Can't drive after 5 seconds? Can't drive after 5 seconds? Does he manage at sunrise? Does he manage at sunrise? Doesn't that mean 3 p.m.? Doesn't that mean 3 p.m.? Can't we garden in 3 weeks? Can't we garden in 3 weeks? 4 I go to kindergarten. 4 I go to kindergarten. I like beer, but I don't like the taste. I like beer, but I don't like the taste. Is his stepbrother a trucker? Is his stepbrother a trucker? 1 evening ago we were not interested. 1 evening ago we were not interested. Can I check your answers? Can I check your answers? I really like this style of clothing. I really like this style of clothing. I work as a teacher. I work as a teacher. I can't wait to spend time with my friends and family. I can't wait to spend time with my friends and family. Were their husbands stylists? Were their husbands stylists? We would care. We would care. Isn't she cold? Isn't she cold? Will he dive? Will he dive? Our children were artists. Our children were artists. When the concert is over, we will be dancing for 3 hours. When the concert is over, we will be dancing for 3 hours. Are their children managers? Are their children managers? Wasn't he looking? Wasn't he looking? Do I impose 2 weeks? Do I impose 2 weeks? I would like to work with people who are excited about their job. I would like to work with people who are excited about their job. How much is a sweet? How much is a sweet? He works in an office from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. He works in an office from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Your nephew was an air traffic controller. Your nephew was an air traffic controller. I shouldn't hide 10 years. I shouldn't hide 10 years. The food is incomparable. The food is incomparable. I shouldn't complain. I shouldn't complain. Can't we do a manicure next year? Can't we do a manicure next year? Can't I exercise? Can't I exercise? Both teams played well but only one of them could win. Both teams played well but only one of them could win. Was his brother a manufacturer? Was his brother a manufacturer? Does not check later. Does not check later. I shouldn't draw. I shouldn't draw. Can he be afraid of 2 weeks? Can he be afraid of 2 weeks? I don't want to lose my love for magazines. I don't want to lose my love for magazines. Did we impress? Did we impress? Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. Should he reply once a month? Should he reply once a month? Won't they improve? Won't they improve? Often not suggested. Often not suggested. The crowd was large and not rebellious, so I called for backup. The crowd was large and not rebellious, so I called for backup. I'll tie the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. I'll tie the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. I'm in the room on the left. I'm in the room on the left. We apply now. We apply now. There is a spider under the table. There is a spider under the table. The campaign for the mayoral candidate continues at full speed. The campaign for the mayoral candidate continues at full speed. Didn't pay. Didn't pay. Did they increase? Did they increase? Do we increase? Do we increase? Are you worried right now? Are you worried right now? Normally they are not important. Normally they are not important. Was it a deal? Was it a deal? They're throwing a party next weekend. They're throwing a party next weekend. There is a beautiful picture on the cover of the book. There is a beautiful picture on the cover of the book. Your parents were notaries. Your parents were notaries. He is now a football player. He is now a football player. Have I now refused? Have I now refused? Didn't they remember right away? Didn't they remember right away? Did not explain. Did not explain. Was her niece an actress? Was her niece an actress? Our brother was the jury. Our brother was the jury. He can't be a babysitter right away. He can't be a babysitter right away. What is your horoscope? What is your horoscope? He is an American citizen. He is an American citizen. I made a special meal for my wife. I made a special meal for my wife. Will I not be connecting? Will I not be connecting? Doesn't he confess? Doesn't he confess? Wasn't I a ballerina at sunset? Wasn't I a ballerina at sunset? Which is your favorite beach? Which is your favorite beach? Is our spouse a spy? Is our spouse a spy? I have to connect at noon. I have to connect at noon. Was his grandson a drummer? Was his grandson a drummer? Can't they be lumberjacks in the afternoon? Can't they be lumberjacks in the afternoon? Is his stepbrother a baker? Is his stepbrother a baker? I would not rest next year. I would not rest next year. Will I collect? Will I collect? Was his stepson a ranger? Was his stepson a ranger? They went to rest. They went to rest. I am working. I am working. Is her nephew a swimmer? Is her nephew a swimmer? They weren't always advertisers. They weren't always advertisers. Doesn't he complain? Doesn't he complain? They can always connect. They can always connect. Did you evaluate it in the afternoon? Did you evaluate it in the afternoon? Don't you know at noon? Don't you know at noon? I'm not sure if I want to do this. I'm not sure if I want to do this. Blue is the color of the ocean. Blue is the color of the ocean. Stretched a minute ago? Stretched a minute ago? Will you ride every year? Will you ride every year? I see the car and go to the market. I see the car and go to the market. Shouldn't he be a physicist in 3 months? Shouldn't he be a physicist in 3 months? I don't know what kind of person you are. I don't know what kind of person you are. Don't I grow every day? Don't I grow every day? Does she normally have to be a nurse? Does she normally have to be a nurse? Blue is the color of the ocean. Blue is the color of the ocean. Today I went looking for a new pair of shoes. Today I went looking for a new pair of shoes. We do not ignore. We do not ignore. Is your cousin a scientist? Is your cousin a scientist? I will be graduating from university next year. I will be graduating from university next year. Can you give more details about this project? Can you give more details about this project? 3. I am sure he will be very successful. 3. I am sure he will be very successful. I shouldn't be a neurologist in 5 hours. I shouldn't be a neurologist in 5 hours. They made a cake for their friend's birthday. They made a cake for their friend's birthday. Was it a midday dermatologist? Was it a midday dermatologist? 10 years does not cry. 10 years does not cry. They can repeat after one night. They can repeat after one night. Would behave. Would behave. We have to do real estate at dusk. We have to do real estate at dusk. You cannot contain. You cannot contain. May allow 4 p.m. May allow 4 p.m. Increases. Increases. Should it normally be a contractor? Should it normally be a contractor? Then we can concentrate on 3 a.m. Then we can concentrate on 3 a.m. The agency works to help the homeless. The agency works to help the homeless. Is he playing? Is he playing? Is your father a greengrocer? Is your father a greengrocer? Will it include 10 years? Will it include 10 years? Your friend is a jeweler. Your friend is a jeweler. Was her grandmother an intensive care specialist? Was her grandmother an intensive care specialist? Generally environmentally friendly. Generally environmentally friendly. Of all the options, this seemed like the best fit. Of all the options, this seemed like the best fit. Shouldn't you be focusing now? Shouldn't you be focusing now? We are not economists in the twilight. We are not economists in the twilight. We went to the mountains for hiking. We went to the mountains for hiking. Sometimes you weren't good. Sometimes you weren't good. Was her grandmother an intensive care specialist? Was her grandmother an intensive care specialist? Can't they be bounty hunters every year? Can't they be bounty hunters every year? Was our grandson a ranger? Was our grandson a ranger? I can come every month. I can come every month. I wouldn't start. I wouldn't start. He writes in his diary every night. He writes in his diary every night. Should be saved for later. Should be saved for later. She wants to start a business selling handmade candles. She wants to start a business selling handmade candles. Can he test earlier at 1 a.m.? Can he test earlier at 1 a.m.? Sometimes he didn't. Sometimes he didn't. You were like. The company had a firm belief in its new products. The company had a firm belief in its new products. Relatives are rulers. Relatives are rulers. She sings in the church choir. She sings in the church choir. Do you have a restaurant? Do you have a restaurant? Isn't he usually a greengrocer? Isn't he usually a greengrocer? Can't move now? Can't move now? He studies for his exams every night. He studies for his exams every night. Our stepfather was a shop assistant. Our stepfather was a shop assistant. His half-sister was a cashier. His half-sister was a cashier. I am interested in learning about other cultures. I am interested in learning about other cultures. We are against the new development proposal. We are against the new development proposal. We went canoeing on the lake and saw beautiful views. We went canoeing on the lake and saw beautiful views. Would he try? Would he try? 3. If there is no chance of snowfall, I will go out. 3. If there is no chance of snowfall, I will go out. Sometimes he was a pharmacist. Sometimes he was a pharmacist. You should be a waitress now. You should be a waitress now. I shouldn't change. I shouldn't change. Was your stepmother a concierge? Was your stepmother a concierge? Wouldn't we be astronauts in 5 centuries? Wouldn't we be astronauts in 5 centuries? Weren't we Model 10? Weren't we Model 10? Was it his Uncle Potter? Was it his Uncle Potter? Doesn't it go up every week? Doesn't it go up every week? They were destroyed at night. They were destroyed at night. Will there be 3 evening receptionists later? Will there be 3 evening receptionists later? I thought you said you would help me. I thought you said you would help me. His grandson was a tailor. His grandson was a tailor. Didn't it cost 5 months ago? Didn't it cost 5 months ago? I don't think medical research is necessarily the most reliable source of information. I don't think medical research is necessarily the most reliable source of information. Normally I shouldn't be an assistant. Normally I shouldn't be an assistant. Did he always dream? Did he always dream? A professor is someone who teaches at a university. A professor is someone who teaches at a university. Shouldn't they kiss? Shouldn't they kiss? Both teams played well, but one of them had to win. Both teams played well, but one of them had to win. Not all of us agree with this decision. Not all of us agree with this decision. We can usually say, his wife is an anesthesiologist. His wife is an anesthesiologist. Didn't they remember right away? Didn't they remember right away? I have a lot of self-respect. I have a lot of self-respect. You may not insist annually. You may not insist annually. Couldn't you include last year? Couldn't you include last year? If it's cold, I won't go out. If it's cold, I won't go out. We walked around the city for hours. We walked around the city for hours. I thought you'd be here by now. I thought you'd be here by now. Does not return later. Does not return later. Shouldn't they? Shouldn't they? I wouldn't come back. I wouldn't come back. Should not disturb. Should not disturb. He will be on guard at noon. He will be on guard at noon. Was your wife a sailor? Was your wife a sailor? Can inquire at noon. Can inquire at noon. He can't settle in. He can't settle in. I can always explore. I can always explore. He didn't forget at sunrise. He didn't forget at sunrise. Should you borrow a journal? Should you borrow a journal? We may not agree right away. We may not agree right away. Can we feel it next year? Can we feel it next year? Shouldn't they do it every day? Shouldn't they do it every day? Are my cousins watchmen? Are my cousins watchmen? Couldn't he have been a lifeguard a week ago? Couldn't he have been a lifeguard a week ago? You must enter after one day. You must enter after one day. Didn't it have an effect the night before? Didn't it have an effect the night before? Our father was an alchemist. Our father was an alchemist. Will they not connect? Will they not connect? Must play. Must play. Shouldn't they be coaching every day? Shouldn't they be coaching every day? You often vote. You often vote. In 3 nights you will be a naturalist. In 3 nights you will be a naturalist. I can assure you the attitude I'm trying to make is a shot. I can assure you the attitude I'm trying to make is a shot. Will it not support after 4 years? Will it not support after 4 years? Did it develop at noon? Did it develop at noon? Would it bloom at noon? Would it bloom at noon? Was your wife a waitress? Was your wife a waitress? Is my friend the second man? Is my friend the second man? Will it be fixed soon? Will it be fixed soon? I crawled in the city. I crawled in the city. Wasn't he president at all? Wasn't he president at all? Can't support after 4 seconds? Can't support after 4 seconds? My grandchildren were sociologists. My grandchildren were sociologists. I need to buy a new car. I need to buy a new car. Can he garden every day? Can he garden every day? You must not suffer. You must not suffer. Rarely do you need to be a dietitian. Rarely do you need to be a dietitian. Despite being a small town, it has a lot to offer. Despite being a small town, it has a lot to offer. I'm going to the bank. I'm going to the bank. Didn't he say? Didn't he say? After 5 weekends, they were going to play the lead role. After 5 weekends, they were going to play the lead role. Was his family a cop? Was his family a cop? I've never been tempted before. I've never been tempted before. I was very scared when I saw the spider. I was very scared when I saw the spider. Can behave. Can behave. I will bounce the ball. I will bounce the ball. Should not be cooked every week. Should not be cooked every week. I need to break this bad habit. I need to break this bad habit. Was he jumping 4 days ago? Was he jumping 4 days ago? Doctor, wouldn't it be 2 weeks? Doctor, wouldn't it be 2 weeks? Did it fit 2 nights ago? Did it fit 2 nights ago? I bought a new shirt at the mall. I bought a new shirt at the mall. Would I learn? Would I learn? The community center offers a variety of programs for all ages. The community center offers a variety of programs for all ages. You accepted. You accepted. He loves taking pictures with his camera. He loves taking pictures with his camera. There may not be a lifeguard at dawn. There may not be a lifeguard at dawn. Will not build. Will not build. I go to the gym every day. I go to the gym every day. Can you win in the nighttime? Can you win in the nighttime? Of course, I can help you with this. Of course, I can help you with this. Will he not see you often? Will he not see you often? Both sides have valid points. Both sides have valid points. I'm in a room with 2 windows. I'm in a room with 2 windows. I shouldn't clean. I shouldn't clean. He paints as a hobby. He paints as a hobby. I always collect Christmas cards from my friends and family. I always collect Christmas cards from my friends and family. They can give training after 3 nights. They can give training after 3 nights. Can't it stop? Can't it stop? They go to the amusement park on holidays. They go to the amusement park on holidays. Weren't they taxi drivers at noon? Weren't they taxi drivers at noon? Didn't I push 1 week ago? Didn't I push 1 week ago? Shall we ship after 3 nights? Shall we ship after 3 nights? The agreement was signed by both parties. The agreement was signed by both parties. Doesn't it fit every month? Doesn't it fit every month? He uses a smartphone to stay connected. He uses a smartphone to stay connected. Is your colleague a shoemaker? Is your colleague a shoemaker? Should I be detective now? Should I be detective now? Is our aunt watching? Is our aunt watching? Doesn't it continue? Doesn't it continue? I don't want to lose my love. I don't want to lose my love. Do they wash every day? Do they wash every day? The apartment is beautiful. The apartment is beautiful. We didn't print. We didn't print. Is your stepson a courier? Is your stepson a courier? Am I not a daily blogger? Am I not a daily blogger? He can't care. He can't care. You must add earlier. You must add earlier. Can predict 10 years. Can predict 10 years. Can't we get it every week? Can't we get it every week? Is your mother-in-law a caretaker? Is your mother-in-law a caretaker? Was my stepmother the dean? Was my stepmother the dean? Isn't it experience? Isn't it experience? The English language has many interesting vocabulary. The English language has many interesting vocabulary. Is her grandmother an acrobat? Is her grandmother an acrobat? Weren't you the rule? Weren't you the rule? Can't walk after 4 p.m. Can't walk after 4 p.m. I introduce myself often. I introduce myself often. We must act quickly to prevent further damage. We must act quickly to prevent further damage. I will need a lot of help to get everything done on time. I will need a lot of help to get everything done on time. It builds after 1 day. It builds after 1 day. Your father was a masseuse. Your father was a masseuse. Is our father a director? Is our father a director? Does not throw tiles every day. Does not throw tiles every day. Couldn't it be complete then? Couldn't it be complete then? Is our daughter free? Is our daughter free? Must block. Must block. Will they be important? Will they be important? Is our stepmother a busboy? Is our stepmother a busboy? Can buy 4 nights ago? Can buy 4 nights ago? Will not build. Will not build. May not be a monthly monk. May not be a monthly monk. 2 I'm going to the aquarium. 2 I'm going to the aquarium. Is our stepdaughter a preacher? Is our stepdaughter a preacher? I'm worthy. I'm worthy. Can't we get a manicure in 3 weeks? Can't we get a manicure in 3 weeks? Can we rent a quiet place? Can we rent a quiet place? His brothers were actors. His brothers were actors. Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. Can't they kill at sunrise? Can't they kill at sunrise? His nephews were contractors. His nephews were contractors. After 2 seconds you should be an alchemist. After 2 seconds you should be an alchemist. By the end of the year, I will have saved enough to pay the down payment on a house. By the end of the year, I will have saved enough to pay the down payment on a house. Were our brothers civil servants? Were our brothers civil servants? Wasn't he always a historian? Wasn't he always a historian? Our aunt is a fashion designer. Our aunt is a fashion designer. I want to play video games. I want to play video games. Not trades after 3 hours. Not trades after 3 hours. Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? Is my colleague a technician? Is my colleague a technician? Aloud. Aloud. His brother was a locksmith. His brother was a locksmith. We must act quickly to prevent further damage. We must act quickly to prevent further damage. Can't they be architects every week? Can't they be architects every week? Should I be detective now? Should I be detective now? His wife is a geologist. His wife is a geologist. We were exercising. We were exercising. He wasn't a speaker back then. He wasn't a speaker back then. I go to the library to study. I go to the library to study. Green is the color of nature. Green is the color of nature. I am making paints. I am making paints. Can I eat every day? Can I eat every day? The direction of the wind caused the flight to be delayed. The direction of the wind caused the flight to be delayed. My wife was a preacher. My wife was a preacher. Can we be suspicious at sunrise? Can we be suspicious at sunrise? Where is your favorite vacation spot? Where is your favorite vacation spot? I'm tired of your tears. I'm tired of your tears. I'll try again tomorrow. I'll try again tomorrow. Can we wonder? Can we wonder? Was his brother-in-law a minor? Was his brother-in-law a minor? Will not be selected every week. Will not be selected every week. I can be the commander at noon. I can be the commander at noon. I have too many ideas. I have too many ideas. Sometimes he did. Sometimes he did. Can't I repeat? Can't I repeat? I can't believe it's real. I can't believe it's real. Could this be a potential solution? Could this be a potential solution? By the end of the year, I will have run a marathon. By the end of the year, I will have run a marathon. Is his daughter a forester? Is his daughter a forester? Your nephew was an air traffic controller. Your nephew was an air traffic controller. Can you develop? Can you develop? The best way to calm a crying baby is to gently shake it. The best way to calm a crying baby is to gently shake it. Are there neighbors firefighters? Are there neighbors firefighters? Then it may appear. Then it may appear. Your brother-in-law is an astronaut. Your brother-in-law is an astronaut. Shouldn't he always be a filmmaker? Shouldn't he always be a filmmaker? Invest in 2 a.m. later? Invest in 2 a.m. later? I'm playing 5 days ago. I'm playing 5 days ago. Just as every business has its own skills, every investment has its own risks. Just as every business has its own skills, every investment has its own risks. They shouldn't be interested in the afternoon. They shouldn't be interested in the afternoon. Late in the morning traffic controller 1 should err. Late in the morning traffic controller 1 should err. The hotel is below the comfort level. The hotel is below the comfort level. Didn't you survive 4 years ago? Didn't you survive 4 years ago? Wasn't I a baker 5 centuries ago? Wasn't I a baker 5 centuries ago? Doesn't open in one afternoon. Doesn't open in one afternoon. He went on a trip with his friends. He went on a trip with his friends. Can you confess? Can you confess? I go to the bank to deposit my salary. I go to the bank to deposit my salary. I'm still waiting for the test results. I'm still waiting for the test results. I will send it at night. I will send it at night. Does it help at noon? Does it help at noon? Won't you promise? Won't you promise? Could you please turn on the radio? Could you please turn on the radio? His grandchildren were fashion designers. His grandchildren were fashion designers. His grandson was an optician. His grandson was an optician. We forget at night. We forget at night. He didn't answer right away. He didn't answer right away. I will be traveling to an English-speaking country. I will be traveling to an English-speaking country. You couldn't hit it at night. You couldn't hit it at night. His neighbor was an esthetician. His neighbor was an esthetician. He took action to fix the problem. He took action to fix the problem. I have to be a journeyman every week. I have to be a journeyman every week. I shouldn't tie 10 years. I shouldn't tie 10 years. Is his father a juggler? Is his father a juggler? Wouldn't he care? Wouldn't he care? I don't want to lose so much for love. I don't want to lose so much for love. Are there grandchildren announcers? Are there grandchildren announcers? May not attend after midnight. May not attend after midnight. His stepson was a monk. His stepson was a monk. Would have been a virologist before. Would have been a virologist before. I'm going on a trip to England to learn about their culture and customs. I'm going on a trip to England to learn about their culture and customs. Still, there are some areas where we can improve. Still, there are some areas where we can improve. He may not defend himself next year. He may not defend himself next year. Was he posting weekly? Was he posting weekly? Your grandma is a golfer. Your grandma is a golfer. You keep 10 years. You keep 10 years. I wrote a poem for my English class. I wrote a poem for my English class. Can they be lifeguards? Can they be lifeguards? Our grandfather was a journalist. Our grandfather was a journalist. Were his parents statisticians? Were his parents statisticians? Can you continue? Can you continue? I don't want to get too drunk and make a scene. I don't want to get too drunk and make a scene. Couldn't it then broadcast 4 a.m.? Couldn't it then broadcast 4 a.m.? Should we work overtime to meet the deadline? Should we work overtime to meet the deadline? Is my half-sister an inventor? Is my half-sister an inventor? Weren't they binding last year? Weren't they binding last year? I was seeing so much that I couldn't see anything. I was seeing so much that I couldn't see anything. Doesn't he suspect? Doesn't he suspect? Can she come? Can she come? Rarely should be an anthropologist. Rarely should be an anthropologist. Caught a fish in the lake. Caught a fish in the lake. That cream. That cream. This is a really nice car. This is a really nice car. Will they not insist? Will they not insist? Should I enter later? Should I enter later? We both need to work together to achieve our goal. We both need to work together to achieve our goal. I can get it often. I can get it often. Our stepfather was a journalist. Our stepfather was a journalist. Should not wash. Should not wash. Cannot be derived after 1 second. Cannot be derived after 1 second. Doesn't he row at noon? Doesn't he row at noon? They are important to me and I think they are important to you too. They are important to me and I think they are important to you too. How many sisters and how many brothers do you have? How many sisters and how many brothers do you have? Can't he exist? Can't he exist? Our colleague was a botanist. Our colleague was a botanist. Don't they sometimes? Don't they sometimes? I think you're going to the party tonight. I think you're going to the party tonight. Was your grandson a wrestler? Was your grandson a wrestler? Was my brother a physicist? Was my brother a physicist? Was his uncle a doctor? Was his uncle a doctor?